My name is Chad Williams, aka Chadklassic, the barber, the artist. From Houston, Texas originally, by way of Seattle, Federal Way. Been out here for a minute. Been cutting hair for years in this area. Been doing it professionally now, pushing up on 7 years. And been able to build a brand as Chadklassic. Got the idea to come with Fading Places one day, sitting in the shop and just thinking about the barbers and some of the dope barbershops that are out here in the area. Put the idea on paper, put the plan together and execute it. And here we are, man. Barbering's allowed me to pursue other endeavors that I like, photography, video production. I'm also a DJ, music producer, and I've just been able to tie all those things in via barbering. And it's just an opportunity for me to give back and shed some light on the barbering community out here in the Seattle-Tacoma area. What was my first pair of clippers? My first pair of clippers were, I don't remember which, I know the brand, I don't remember the model. It's a pair of Osters from Kmart. It's my very, very first pair of clippers from Kmart. My mom got them for me, and I believe they were no more than 15 bucks at the time. I'm showing my age here, so this was in the 80s. Late 80s, mom got me a pair of clippers, no cool care, no oil. And mind you, now, when you get a pair of clippers, usually you get that little tube of oil that comes with them so you can at least keep the blade lubricated. This particular pair of clippers, it wasn't in the box. There was no oil. It was, I think it was just, sometimes you'll just have the discount bin or something like that. And we was in there shopping, and she spotted the clippers and was just like, because I can't afford to take you to the barber every week. And my mom was a single mom. She was, not good with cutting my hair. She was just like, figure it out. And, at the time, I would have never guessed that pair of clippers would have landed me here, but that's how it started. What inspired me to get into barbering? So I've been cutting hair all my life. I got those first pair of clippers, and after months, maybe even a year and a half, maybe 2 years of wrecking my own head, I got decent enough at that bowl cut to where I started cutting my little brother's hair, then I started cutting my cousin's hair, then a couple homies on the block, and just from there it was just always something that I had in my, in the artillery, man. I could cut hair. It's just the era that I come from, I'm from Houston, and growing up, we knew how to cut our own hair, we knew how to dance, we could fix our own bike, you could detail a car, you knew how to cut grass, just self-sufficient. It came out of struggle, actually. So moving forward, I came out to Seattle, and at that time, early 90s, where I was, Federal Way, there was not a lot. Actually, there was one black barbershop, and I couldn't always afford to go to it. And so being that by that time I moved here, I'd had a couple years under my belt. And like I said, with there not being a lot of black people in Federal Way, it didn't take you long to get to know the black community. And at the time I was wearing a flat top. And Cass was pulling me over all the time, like, yo, where do you get your hair cut? And I was like, man, I cut my own hair. And then that just led to opportunity. So it was always a side hustle. Always a side hustle. Fast forward, I became a grown-up, family, grown-up stuff. You buy a house, you get bills, you get a credit score, all that good stuff. But it was a 9 to 5. I was in the optical industry for a very long time and just got burnt out with having to bargain for a vacation, compete for days off, and not being my own boss. And I just got to a point to where I just started educating myself on what I could do to start my own business. What could I do to be my own boss? And I had to, take a look within and see what skills that I had. I'm an aspiring photographer, I'm a DJ, I'm a music producer, and I was an unlicensed barber, so I could cut hair, and I was good at it. And, or at least at the time I thought I was, until I got into the industry and stood next to some professionals, and that was, self-check real quick. But barbering was an avenue that I could take and work towards a different career. Okay, what made me decide to go to barber school was I was fed up with my 9 to 5. I just, that hamster wheel, 40 hours a week, still struggling, and I wasn't happy, man. And I just gotten to a point to where I realized that in my life, if I live to be, I don't know, 80 years old, and I look back and I spent 50 years of my life on a miserable job because they're waving a retirement plan or a 401k in front of me, I would regret that. But if I live my life and look back over the 80-year span and I spent the majority of my life doing what I love to do, right? Connecting with people, being my own boss, owning my own time. And that's the crucial thing, having time for my life, for my family, doing what I enjoy doing. That was the motivating factor. And I just had to put a plan together, believe in myself, and execute. Shout out to my uncle. He actually also went to the same barber school. He went before I did. And he's the one that told me about BJ's in Tacoma, and they had a night program. And I took a look. One day, instead of dreaming about it and talking about it, talking to my family, and I was just like, I'm gonna pull the trigger. I looked the school up, called the next day, went to orientation. Going into barber school, I had no idea what to expect. I get to barber school, and it was one of the hoodest experiences of my life. Man, but also one of the best experience, top 5 best experiences of my life. Barber school was everything I needed to be. I mean, from beginning to end, some of the best laughs, and I met some of the coolest people. But barber school, I would say anybody that wants to get into barbering, go to barber school. It is an experience like no other. And made some friends for life up in there. But just some of the experiences, some of the haircuts you see, some of the people in the community that you meet. Met my guys, Jason and Herb. Met a lot of cool people, but it was just one of the best experiences of my life. It was great. Learned so much, relationships that I built, just from everything, from the laughs and the drama and the relationships. I had one bad day, not that I need to go into it, but outside of that, and I went part-time. BJ's was I think it took me about 10 months to get through part-time, man, and it was everything. It was everything. And I wouldn't change it for the world. Barber school, it was so much fun. I was sometimes wish I could go back. Like, man, I should become a student instructor just to go back to barber school, because you need that energy in your life. They got the movie Barbershop, but I don't know, man. Y'all look out, man. We might have to do one called Barber College, because anybody that's been to Barber College, man, I'll tell you, it's 100. Now that I'm here, it has not been perfect. You got days to where you make $50, you got days to where you make $500. But what I can say is I'm the happiest that I've ever been, probably in 10 plus years. I'm my own boss. I have more time for my life, more time for my family, and I'm doing what I love to do. I'm making it happen with my vision, with my hands, right? I'm serving my community, I'm serving my family, and we're getting it done. The transition was exciting because I went from 13 years of sitting at a desk, you know, to now the little things. And these are the things that are important to me. I got to dress nice. I got to make my own hours, make my own money. Just meeting people, you know, versus the 9 to 5. Like I said, you know, anybody that's had a 9 to 5, we've all had that coworker or coworkers that you just want to slap the shit out of. You can't stand being around them. You know, it's just like, okay, you sound good in this break room, clock out though. Meet me in the parking lot. You know what I'm saying? And to get away from that, man, it was just such a breath of fresh air. And every single experience for me was just grand. And granted, too, what you got to take into consideration, I did this a little bit later in life. You know, a lot of times you meet barbers, you know, barbers in their, you know, in barber school, they're either right out of high school or in their early 20s. You know, I was a grown man with a family, you know, own a home, you know, had a career in optical, 13 plus years, just kind of doing my thing. And then all of a sudden I was just like, you know what, I'm miserable, I'm unhappy, I need something. And I had the opportunity. And with barbering, you know, I was able to do all the things that I dreamed about, you know. Get up, it's lights, cameras, action, man. I get up, I'm dipped, I'm dressed fresh, well groomed, I'm making some money, you know what I'm saying? I'm connecting with people, I'm out here in the community, man. I'm promoting the shop, I'm promoting my business. I have a reason now to be on social media instead of just to be on there just cause. No, I'm on there trying to promote my shop, promote my business, gain new clients. I'm sharing my art with people. The whole experience, it was everything that I needed it to be versus the everyday, you know, I'm talking about by Saturday night, man, I'm already dealing with anxiety because I got to go to work Monday morning. Now, man, I look forward to coming to work every single day. Even, you know, even on the days that are a little bit slower, just with my folks that are coming in, I learn something new. I'm hearing about their travels, their experiences. You know, you get to learn about people's families, just every little thing, you know, just to creating my own logo, to applying for a business license, to just all the things that I went through to get to this spot. It was a beautiful thing. It was just a beautiful thing. I wouldn't trade it for the world. And with me, like I said, I did work. I maintained my day gig, transitioning into barbering full time. But during that time, I barbered part time, and I was able to maintain my job. So I knew I was gonna get that paycheck, and all I had to do was have some fun, show up. You know, even with all the things that I didn't know. You know, my haircuts weren't the cleanest as the guys or the ladies standing next to me, but I knew I was gonna get there, and it was a beautiful thing. Social media is everything. Social media has changed the game for everything. You know, I come through a time where if you wanted to know something, you had to know somebody or try to get an encyclopedia. Now, I mean, it's a Google search, and more for me, YouTube. Shout out to Victor Barber. There's a couple more on there, but I spent a lot of time with Victor Barber, and what I learned from him is that I couldn't even emulate what he was doing. I would watch everything that he would do, you know, step by step, but my cuts would not come out the way his did. And so repetition, man, you see it, you go over it and then practice. You know, it's just like with basketball. I'm a huge basketball fan. You can study film all day, but until you get in the gym and start putting those shots up, right, and start working on your handles and working on your game, you're not going to get better. And that's kind of where it came from. And, you know, music videos, just social media, entertainment, just media, period. Seeing different styles, seeing what they're doing in Atlanta, Florida, Chicago, LA, Houston, Dallas, you know, the shout out to the D-Town, what is it, what they call that thing? it's the D-Town Shag. You know, I cannot believe the Shag is back, but the way they're doing it, they're killing it, and it's butter. Social media has been my anchor. You know, and you know, get your hashtag on. You know, post some quality content, quality pictures of your work, and it allows you to connect with people. There's your Facebook, there's your Instagram, even Yelp, your reviews. You can reach hundreds, if not thousands of people, you know, with a few double clicks, and there you have it. In 5 years, I see myself with another location, you know, a second location, if not a third. Um, and that's really it, man. I see myself. The plan that I have myself is to own a couple of shops and I like to travel more with barbering. I'd like to get into the education side of things and connecting with barbers that want to come into the game and cut all textures of hair. I see myself several locations, traveling with a healthy, consistent clientele. I mean, as of right now, as far as barbering goes, but yeah. And then what I'd like to get into too is for other shop owners, other barbers, again, the artistry, I like to do video production for them, you know, pull up and help barbers promote their shop, promote their brand, you know, doing the photography side of things, doing the video production side of things, just continuing, you know, without, and still cutting hair. As much as I like being behind the chair, but I want to travel more. I want to explore every avenue of barbering that I can, and by connecting with other barbers and other shops, and again helping them with their photography, doing video production. That's something that I would like to get into. If I can make a contribution with. To some of the, you know, surrounding barber schools, pull up and do, you know, do fade clinics, cut clinics, anything that I could do to help, you know, to add to the industry. That's what I want to do, definitely. So, there's a ton of barbers. There's always not a ton of good barbers, and you know, you gotta drive a little bit to find a good barber, man. To kind of touch on what my guy Jimmy Mack said earlier, man. You gotta take a trip. You know, you'll pass a lot of barbershops to find a good barber, and I think what makes a good barber, number one, is being able to be professional, your skill level, and consistency, being punctual, you know, being here when you say you're gonna be here, and man, and getting that cut right, just consistently, you know. Shout out to Mike Daniels. You know, he's been out here probably 30 years cutting hair, and what I learned from him, the most important thing that I learned from him was being professional. You know, I didn't see him standing behind a chair, cussing all the time, always well dressed, always professional, always well connected in the community, and you know, just doing his thing. And I like that. I appreciated that. And in my opinion, in my eyes, I just thought that, you know, he set the bar for what a good barber should be. You know, barbers have that reputation of being well dressed, of being just, you know, just hip, sharp, you know, gift of gab, knowing how to connect with people out here, you know, community servants. They make really good money, and you know, I wanted to make a contribution to that. To be a good barber, in my opinion, you just be professional, be punctual, and always find ways to get better. And just the simple stuff, you know, the stuff that I think comes with home training. You know, be respectful, be clean, take care of your tools, and you know, and promote your brand, you know, and just do you. Where I'd like to see fading places go, I would like to connect with more barbers, more barbershops. Obviously, We're starting right here in our region, the Northwest, but I would love to take it on the road. I would love to travel and let it be something to where I can, pull up on super talented barbers, showcase some really talented barbershops, and just let people take a look into, what people are doing from the Northwest to the South to the East Coast, and allow, fading places to kind of snowball and grow into something real cool that people appreciate. And when you hear or see anything fading places related, you know what you're getting into. Quality content, dope barbers, dope shops, good laughs, and you get to share in people's journey and how they been able to attain their success through barbering.